another episode of A-Town Rundown. I'm Joey, joined always with a guitar-loving, metal-loving, Miller Lite-loving, hell of a guy, Jeremy Harlan over there. So I've kind of learned on my side of things that every time I talk about how something's going to go down on Thursday night, how this team's going to destroy this other team, how it's not even going to be a good game, I get humbled. I get proved wrong. It happened to me again. I was talking all that shit about Joe Flacco and the Bengals, which I still don't think that Joe Flacco is necessarily the savior of this situation, but he did show some promise as the Bengals were able to beat the Steelers. Now, granted, the Steelers aren't the biggest formative opponent there is. They aren't the hardest team to beat in football right now, but a win is a win. This is a good momentum shift for Cincinnati. It is good that Joe Flacco was able to come back out there because you saw him last week. He was starting to gain some steam, starting to gain some momentum in the fourth quarter when it was too late. But then he came out here. It was almost like he had a point to prove. Him and Jamar Chase were clicking to the point that Jamar Chase even set a franchise record with 16 receptions for 161 yards, which is something he hasn't done with Joe Burrow. He did it with 40-year-old Joe Flacco. And then the running back, Chase Brown, had 108 yards on 11 carries. He was averaging 9.8 yards per carry, and that's one of the best single game per carry outputs in recent Bengals history. So the Bengals did come out. They did show out, but at the same time, I don't know how thoroughly you should be impressed with, considering it was not only was it against the Steelers, but it was also a shootout against the Steelers. The final score was 33-31. You know, the Bengals won with a 27-yard, or was it 27 or 30-yard? Either way, they won it with a field goal, you know, down to the wire. I will say it is kind of good news for the Bengals fans. It can be one of two things. It can either be good news or it can be false hope because, you know, this win is meaningful. They beat a rival. They did it on prime time. It was a tight game. It kind of resets your morale. It gives belief back into the room. And I'm not going to say that Flacco looked incredible out there, but what Flacco did look was he looked capable. He looked like he still does know how to command a game. He looks like he still knows how to win games. And that's what he came out there and did. So I'm not going to say that this is the, you know, turning point the Bengals need in their career, but it's, in their season, but it is something to look forward to. It is something to get excited about. It's something to, you know, be proud of and carry the momentum into the next week. It's going to be tough for them, you know, with a 40-year-old quarterback, with all the odds they have against them, with, you know, how many losses they have right now, seeing if they can turn this season around. So I don't know. I'm kind of optimistic for them, but there's also there's also some big, you know, room for caution at the same time because the Steelers were far from perfect. It's not like the Steelers came out there and, you know, went blow for blow or fucking, you know, it's not like they beat an outstanding team. They beat, you know, a team that's it was kind of even playing field. But at the same time, I guess if you are a Cincinnati fan, you should be excited for this, you know?
Sure. Yeah. No, they finally got some good news coming out of Cincinnati. Like we talked about, this is going to be a boring game. It's the two oldest quarterbacks. Everyone all week was calling it the Bengay Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, you
which
were just
I love
that too. That's fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah, no, I love that. Two oldest quarterbacks, but we got to see vintage versions of both of them. So Joe Flacco, kind of famously a game manager who has a good eye for the game. He can do whatever your offensive playbook wants to do as far as just sitting in the pocket, being a pocket passer and going through progressions. And then on the other side, you got Aaron Rodgers. He had a massive play that looked like, you know, Green Bay Aaron Rodgers, you know, escaping the pocket on the run, throwing it, ends up being like a 40-yard touchdown.
Yeah. Almost got in a fight with a teammate after that play too. He was not happy the way that guy celebrated.
Oh yeah, no, but that's Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that's ever going to go away.
Yeah. I don't think
it was great to see that
in general.
No, dude, but you know, he's a charismatic leader. Like you're gonna get some abrasiveness from him. And I bet you Joe Flacco, when the camera's not watching, he's like that too.
Joe Flacco is probably ready to take a nap as soon as the game's over. He's probably like, "Don't fucking bother me, guys. I'm gonna ice my shoulder and lay the foot down." Yeah. Either that, or he's cracking open Miller Lights and telling stories with the boys. You never know; it could go either way.
I imagine that there is a time for that with Joe Flacco. He
But
might be a guy that you catch him at a bar and he's probably pretty quiet, but you get him a couple beers, you break him open, man, you're going to get a lot of good football stories.
Well, dude, the thing is, he's been playing football since we were children, so he has plenty of fucking stories to tell.
Oh, hell
dude.
yeah. Hell yeah.
But
no. He's going to go down as a guy that we bring up, 20 years from now. He might not be he's not going to get brought up like Tom Brady does, but we'll be talking about Joe Flacco.
Isn't there some truth to the isn't there some truth that the replacement's Keanu Reeves character, isn't he loosely based on Joe Flacco?
Yeah, and I forget the name because they had a name that sounds exactly like him. I forget. Someone brought it up at the bar the other day.
Falco.
Yes.
Yeah, Falco.
Something Falco. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
supposed to be like Joe Flacco.
But if you're Cincinnati, you kind of got to ask yourself, there's going to be bigger spotlights. There's going to be more attention on you. And
no one's going to save Cincinnati.
Yeah, and when the defense comes stronger than the Steelers did, how are you guys going to stand up to a bigger, stronger team? Like you gotta see. This is going to show you within the next weeks, within the next game, it's going to show you if this is the turning point, if Joe Flacco is the turning point, or if it's just going to go back to same old Cincinnati. So time will tell. Right. But no, in all honesty, I love seeing good football. I love seeing redemption stories. I love seeing things like that happen. Like it's one of those situations where I'm glad I was proved wrong because you come in and it's kind of like what happened with the Giants. That was something fun to talk about. Now we have something fun to talk about because I did not expect to see Joe Flacco go out there and beat Aaron Rodgers, and that was great to see.
But also with the Steelers, it's like, yeah, they lost the game, but they're still in the mix. What are they, 3-loss team right now? Which pretty much everyone in the NFL seems like they're sitting around that area. We haven't had an undefeated team in 3 weeks now. I feel like the NFL is kind of wide open right now.
Yeah. And especially with the season getting longer too, you can see teams that have a bigger margin of losses on their record still make it well into the playoffs because you have more time to recover. You have more time to turn your season around. You have more time to make proper moves. And you also have more time physically to recover. You have more time to, let other guys play on the field. You don't have to keep banging your starters, week after week with a longer season. So it
usually can't. People get injured.
Yeah, and it is kind of like those things. Like if this was a couple years ago where we had a much shorter season, we'd look at it and be like, "Oh man, it's time to panic. Season's over." But now it's like, "Oh, you can probably get about 2 more losses and still have the opportunity to get into the playoffs." Right now, with how this is with an 18.
And sometimes we see people like running away with it. Like we'd still have like 2 or 3 undefeated teams at this point. We don't have that. Well, we don't. I don't even think we have. Do we have a couple like 1-loss teams, like maybe 1 or 2?
I think the Colts. I think the Colts only have 1 loss. I can't think of any. Well, dude, I'll just be real with you. Unless you're the Raiders, the Dolphins, the fucking Titans, or the goddamn Saints, like the season's wide open for opportunity right now.
Yeah, even Carolina's in there. Like Carolina hasn't done that bad, and we thought they were going to be worst team in the league.
Yep. So speaking of Joe Flacco earlier this season left from the Browns. The Browns are a hot trash team. However, they were able to absolutely obliterate the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins have so much shit going wrong for them right now. They lost to Cleveland 31-6 to the point where you saw Mike McDaniel standing on the sideline and somebody came up to him and you saw the expression on his face change, and there was a lot of rumor going on that he got fired right there on the spot. It turns out he wasn't fired. He does still have a job, but he is very much in the hot seat right now. Amazingly in the hot seat. He is trouble watch. Trouble watch starts with Mike McDaniel right now.
Yes.
All teams aside, I don't know what he's got to do to turn this around, because when you look at Miami, you put Tyreek Hill aside, take him out of the equation, you still are used to having a team that's explosive, that has a lot of power, that has a lot of speed, that has good defense. We aren't fucking seeing any of that this season. And it was so bad that fucking Tua got taken out at the end of the game, and they put in the backup for him. Tua threw 3 fucking interceptions. I don't know what's going on with Miami, but it's fucking brutal. They're having complete offensive collapses. The coaching and culture are all cracking at the seams. So I don't know. I honestly, if there's one more bad loss, because granted, with the way the NFL is, a loss can go either one way. You can have a stellar game and still end up with a loss, still end up with a field goal loss. And at that point, it's kind of like there's not much you could have did.
It's the NFL.
There's several games where, whoever has the ball last is going to win, and there's nothing you can fucking do about that,
Absolutely.
But I feel like if we see another game like this out of Mike McDaniel, that's his fucking job. It's over with.
I agree. So their next game is against the Falcons on Sunday. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I'll kind of
I'm
be
not saying
embarrassed if we
shit.
don't beat
I'm
them.
not
Yeah,
saying
I'll be
shit. I'm
embarrassed if
not
we don't
saying a
beat them.
goddamn word.
Oh, I know, I know. Those are the games that scare me the most. You lose 30-0 to Carolina when you thought you're going to blow them out, but they blew you
Yeah.
out. So who knows? Maybe Miami gets their second win against us next week. But yeah, the management issue with the Miami Dolphins team is out of fucking control.
Yeah.
I think Mike McDaniels is a good coach. I don't think he's a great head coach. He has no control of what's going on down there.
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about last week that they're talking about how players like aren't showing up to the players only meetings, and then it comes out that Tua's not even showing up to some of them.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be the leader of the entire team
Mm-hmm.
when we're talking players only.
Yeah,
So the whole thing's out of control. I don't think there's any accountability that's going on down there. I don't think Mike McDaniel knows what to do. Again, I think he's a good coach, but he's not a great head coach. We're seeing that.
I think he has glimpses of good head coach, and I think he's got a good personality, and I think he's got something about him that people flock to and people want to play with him. But right now, I don't want to be on that team if I'm an NFL player. It seems like there's so much more other bullshit going on than coaching.
I'd rather, yeah,
sure.
I think I'd rather be a coach on the Dolphins than actually no, because then I'd get fired immediately because that's going to happen to everybody down there.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Hey, pay me some money.
Trust me.
As soon as
the offseason comes, they're not going to re-sign Tyreek. I don't see them re-signing Tyreek. They're cleaning house down there. They're going to clear out everybody down there. Everybody that they can afford to lose, they're going to fucking lose straight up.
Yeah, look, you lose season ticket holders for 2-3 years and you rebuild. Mm-hmm. They're kind of at that point. That's the definition of trouble watch. Yeah. It's time to blow it up.
Yeah. So, all right. Speaking of rebuilding, I understand the Giants are in a rebuild right now, and they're doing well. They're doing well as far as rebuilds goes because they have two big pieces of the puzzle. They have Jackson Dart, they have Cam Scatterboo. Two great rebuilds right there. You thought you had something with Russell Wilson. No, you didn't. You were wrong.
No.
But even though they are in the midst, even though they're in the midst of a rebuild, what happened against Denver is something that's almost unfathomable. They lost to Denver 33-32, and Denver scored all of those points in the fourth quarter. Well, not all of them. They scored 18 in the fourth quarter. They were shut out through three quarters. Then scored no. They entered trailing by 18, shut out through four. Then they scored 33 in the fourth quarter. So in the fourth quarter alone, a franchise record, one of the highest NFL scoring single quarters ever. Bo Nix had 4 touchdowns, 2 passing and 2 rushing, and 279 yards in that quarter alone. And then with 37 seconds left, the Giants forced the lead back. So there's only 37 seconds left. They've caught up. They've done all this in the fourth quarter. So if you're the Giants, you're thinking, okay, all I got to do is score this little 1-yard fucking touchdown. Then I've got it. Game's over, right? So they do that. Jackson Dart runs it in, fucking 1-yard touchdown. Boom. Okay, you got the lead again. No need to panic. Nah, fuck that. The Broncos get the ball back, and then they completed a 29-yard pass, then a 22-yard completion, and then a 39-yard field goal with Will Lutz with time expired to win the fucking game. Biggest comeback I've ever seen. Nobody saw that coming. I don't think it's time to panic in New York. I think it's just kind of like a what the fuck moment because I've written off New York for this entire season. I don't see them going anywhere. It's a complete rebuild. We know that. They've still got to sign so many more people. They've still got so many front office changes they got to do. They still got to get a whole team around Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterboo. That's why you get excited when you see them do big plays. But to lose like this is almost as bad as the Falcons Super Bowl loss, if not worse.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna get into all that.
It's not as
not
big
this
as
early
game,
in the night,
but still.
But yeah, no. I mean, look. Giants have plenty to look forward to. I think they're still gonna have a good team, and like we were saying earlier, there's nobody in the NFL that's running away with it. Giants are still in the mix for something. We don't know how the NFC is going to turn out. It's kind of stacked. Like everybody's beating each other up. It is kind of, how do you lose a game like that? But the way that they came out against, one of the top defenses in the league against Denver is impressive. But to go to sleep like that, you can't do it in the NFL. And that's what I love about the NFL, man. Like if you think about like NBA basketball, it's like, okay, you have this much time. You can only go and score this many threes and you start doing the math in your head. when it comes to football, it's like there's so many ways to stop the clock and score quickly and get the ball back on a turnover that, you can do all the football math you want, like in the last 8 minutes of a game. But there's so many different things that can happen that you can see something like what Denver did to New York Giants.
I mean, dude, 33 points in one quarter. And to your point,
Insane.
you're right. If you're losing and you really got to pull something out of your ass, you really can use.
There is a path to do it. Yeah.
That you can use the sidelines to your advantage. Yep. You can make in the NFL, you can make a game with 3 minutes left last 30 minutes if you really strategize properly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, you see teams do it all the time, and it's really that's where the chess side, that's where the strategy side of football comes in, because you can really ice the other defense. You can really get inside their head. You can really just slowly, methodically march up
and you
there.
Can get lucky. You can pick lucky. Somebody off. Somebody fumbles. Somebody muffs a kick.
That's why also
all kinds of things that can happen.
It really comes with the mental prepare. Like football is such a mental game. People don't understand. Like when I see coaches and I see players lose their cool and act sporadic and frustrated and act crazy out there, that right there is letting the other team win. You have to be level-headed. Yep. You have to be calm. You have to be collected. You have to be methodical. You have to be strategic. Like you can't, as much as football is an emotional game and it is an instinctual game, you can't play with instinct. Your strategy and your training has to become your instinct for you to be able to succeed in the NFL. And I know I've never played in it. I've played a lot of Madden, and that's how I win Madden games.
Okay, well, how about like a couple weeks ago when the Falcons played Washington Commanders and Dan Quinn was like, okay, we have this much time left. We're 2 scores down. We have to get a field goal and a touchdown. It's second down, but fuck it, I'm going to kick the field goal now. I called it the Madden field goal. You know, you start looking at the time. You're like, okay, well, I will take points now and try my onside kick because I don't want to, waste all the time trying to get a touchdown if I need both. I'll go ahead and take one now, and then if I get my onside kick, then, I'll use the rest of the time left in the game to go get that touchdown. But there's all kinds of strategies like that to keep you in a football game.
I kind of don't like. I hate plays that go up for chance. Like I kind of hate onside kicks. I kind of hate trick plays.
I do too.
They're scary. It gives me too much anxiety. And another
onside
trick
kick,
play,
it means you're desperate. So it's like, what else are you going to do? You're going to kick the ball to them and lose the game, or are you going to try an onside kick?
Well, speaking of desperation, there's another desperation play that's getting on my motherfucking nerves, and that's the goddamn tush push that I'm seeing too fucking much of. The Vikings played the Eagles, and the Eagles were able to beat them 28-22. We saw the tush push more than I wanted to. They kind of set up.
One time is too many.
Yeah, and the Vikings kind of got smart to it. They kind of set up. They had the guy up front kind of lay diagonal, and then that way, Jalen was looking at it. He couldn't figure out what to do. They ended up getting a play clock violation on that. So it shows that there is some kind of things that you can get around it. But at the end of the day,
it also draws attention to the false starts that the Eagles are doing every time they do this.
And
because when they're looking at that and they're like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" Lined up horizontally. It's like now you're looking to see if he's going to do something, and you might notice every time.
Yeah,
when
you might
one of their offensive linemen, exactly, that they're jumping.
And see, here's what really bothers me too is this whole tush push thing. It's designed for short yardage situations. Short yardage situations. Now you're the Eagles. You have Jalen Hurts and you have Saquon Barkley. Why do you need to rely on a tush push for short yard situations when you have those two weapons right there? What you're telling me is you don't trust your play calling. You don't trust them to get the job done. So let's do this little bullshit trick play that it keeps working for us over and over instead of giving the ball to Saquon, instead of having Jalen throw the ball maybe, instead of having Jalen run the ball. I don't know why they're even on your team if you're going to rely more on a tush push than you are going to rely on Saquon Barkley, who's supposed to be one of the greatest running backs of our generation. Why aren't you giving him the fucking ball?
And it's almost like they're leaning too hard into situational football as far as they're looking at the 1 yard they have left to get, or they're looking at the inches that they have left to get. When, if you were able to swing it outside and get Saquon Barkley one-on-one with somebody or get a hole for him that turns into 25 yards versus the few inches you were going to get just so you can play to the next first down again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they're thinking small when they do that because they do it every time. If they line up, if they get to short yardage and, let's say less than 2 yards, they're going to try the tush push.
Yeah.
If it's second down and 2, they're going to do the tush push, especially if they're in the red zone. And then when it's third down and 1, they're going to do it again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like that.
Then why
That
the
seems a
fuck is
little.
Saquon Barkley even on your team? And in all honesty,
Right.
I did look at the numbers. Maybe Saquon isn't as good as we thought. Saquon ran for 18 times and he only got 44 yards. And this is fucking Saquon Barkley we're talking about. But then
Right.
when you have Saquon Barkley, but instead you're running the most talked about gimmick ever, which that's what it is.
Right.
It's a gimmick play at this point. It's something that people joke about. It's something that Philly fans make T-shirts and posters of because they know that it's hard for other teams to do anything about the tush push and get away with it and not get a penalty on it. So when you're relying on a gimmick rather than relying on Saquon Barkley, what is he even doing here? You know what I'm saying? And he hasn't done, honestly, the past couple of games, he hasn't done much. And
what's he doing there? What's Devontae Smith doing there? What's AJ Brown doing there?
Yeah.
Seems like they don't use them at all.
All these weapons at your disposal. All these weapons.
And I remember when the Eagles kind of like famously, were using the RPO constantly. And it was like the league had to kind of get around to figuring that out. Like, a college football style of, who has the ball. Back when they won their Super Bowl with Nick Foles. They were doing it constantly. But that was exciting football.
To even further your point about that, though, is they're relying on the tush push when they have Smith against the Vikings had a career high of 183 receiving yards. And then A.J. Brown had 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. So why are we doing this tush push? Have you just ran out of plays? Is it one of those situations where if you have short yards and you see that their line is stacked up, is that something you get scared of? Like, are you worried about pressure? You're worried that these guys who have been
you're having
playing,
success with your skill players the whole game.
Yes,
other than Saquon.
Or maybe you're just at this point, maybe you're just fucking trolling everybody. Maybe you know how much it irritates everyone, and that's why. Or maybe you're doing it to give these guys a breath. Like maybe instead of using timeouts, you're using the tush push. I don't know, but I'm fucking tired of seeing it. It's goddamn ridiculous at this point, especially when you're showing me that you do have a good team around you, but you still want to rely on this gimmicky trick play that everybody fucking hates.
Yep. And look, the Eagles fans, they love it because it does get first downs.
Yeah.
You know
what else? You know what else can potentially get a fucking first down on 3rd and 1? Saquon Barkley.
Absolutely.
And then on top of that, if Saquon gets the ball and breaks the line and fucking keeps going, you could get more than just the 1 yard you're going to get from a tush push.
15. You could get 25.
You could get a fucking 50. Touchdown.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah,
I don't know.
Break him open. Yeah, you're at the 30, and he breaks open. Like he's going to carry guys. He's going to carry guys with him into the end zone.
I feel like there's something they're not talking about with Saquon because he hasn't been Saquon, and it does beg the question. There's an old saying that's going around. Could it be the Madden curse? He gets on the fucking cover of Madden. Now he's having games where he's got 18 carries for fucking 44 yards, and then you're seeing them do the tush push instead of just giving him the rock. I don't know. Maybe he's not the same Saquon.
Well, yeah. So I haven't checked in on the Madden curse in a very long time. I actually haven't heard about that in like 10 years. I will say that like Madden 18, Tom Brady was on the cover. I don't think he got cursed.
He didn't get cursed, but Gronkowski
maybe he's the only one
did.
that's yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe Brady's the only like immune to the Madden curse.
Because I felt bad for Gronkowski because Gronkowski got the cover, but then he got hurt. But the Patriots still won the Super Bowl. He just didn't get to play in the game because he was hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, Vic
we should do a segment once we can do some research. I want to look into the Madden curse and talk about how many times that happened, because it happened a lot.
I'm pretty sure Mike Vick was on the cover of Madden 04, and then wasn't it like the 05 season that he got busted for the dogfighting, or was it 06?
I think so.
Yeah.
It was 05 or 06 because we had like the Joey Harrington years, and then we drafted Matt Ryan.
Then we got Matt Ryan. Yeah. So I don't know.
Now that could line up. We'll do some research and we'll revisit the Madden curse next week.
We're gonna do a deep dive. Instead of talking about other teams, we're just gonna do a deep dive and then talk about the Falcons, who hopefully beat the Dolphins.
Yeah, We'll see. I'm most scared about the game. So like against bad teams, dude. Like the Bills,
Yeah.
we were both there. We were like, yeah, we'll talk next week after we beat the Bills' ass, and we did.
But so like if you tune in next week and you just hear us talking about random stats and random football players and Madden curses, just know it's because we don't want to talk about the Falcons.
Yeah, no. Well, hopefully we get to do both.
Yeah. But so one more game before we go into the Falcons, and that was the Lions beating up on the Buccaneers, which I'll tell you, man, I've been singing Baker Mayfield's praises this entire season. In my head, he's been nothing short of the MVP this season. But then when you had this game with them against Detroit, and I've been telling you all along, like he's doing all this with his, B team. He's doing this with no name players. He's doing this with practice squad players, and he's fucking got 15 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. And, he's got a 70% passer rating. He's playing with ice in his veins. And I meant all that. And I still do mean it because what he has done up until this point is amazing. But then you come out and Mike Evans is back. So you're thinking, fuck, if he's been doing all this with the backup players, I can only imagine what he's going to do with Mike Evans out there.
He's number one guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're expecting, like, I'm expecting the Lions to come out there and like, not show up, or I'm expecting the Bucs to show up and the Lions kind of to get put on ice in this game, especially coming off the loss to Kansas City. It seems like the loss to Kansas City kind of woke up Detroit. Detroit came out there with a big old chip on their shoulder. Amos St. Brown, fucking everybody just came to play. And unfortunately, Mike Evans got hurt early in the game. Turned out that Jahmyr Gibbs was fucking electric that game. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. To me, Jahmyr Gibbs is the guy that like solidified the offense and really put them over the edge. I didn't feel like Amon St. Brown was great, but I feel like their offense the whole game was kind of like stuttering and until Jahmyr Gibbs like just starts going the fuck off.
Dude, Jahmyr Gibbs, 136 rushing yards and 82 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns.
He went the fuck off.
But on the Buccaneers side, it was basically as soon as Mike Evans came in, Mike Evans left with a broken collarbone of all things. But then you're looking at it and you're like, well, Baker's been fine without him. It sucks. He lost him as soon as he came back, but it was kind of like everything fell apart because of that. And the defense just started picking Baker apart. And you didn't see the Baker that you've seen this entire season. And it was abysmal. It was awful to see. I don't know if he just couldn't shake the cobwebs after seeing what happened to Evans. I don't know if Detroit really showed up and was that good. But this was not how I expected to see Baker to play, even though it was against Detroit. This was not expected from me at all. I really thought, even if they didn't win, I thought Baker would come out there and still have an MVP performance, and this was not one of them.
No, definitely not. I mean, Baker's worst game of the season, kind of by far, other than the only other game that sticks out is the Eagles game, where he, in my opinion, redeemed himself in the second half. But for this one, what do you expect from Baker Mayfield? Like, how many injuries are going to happen and he could still do this? So I don't really put that so much on him. The offense for the Buccaneers is so injured right now. Ibuka going down last week and he still wins the game. Like, yeah, that was impressive. You go into this game thinking you have Mike Evans and now he goes down. It's like, oh, I'm back to the C squad, which is what they're at. They're at the C squad now, not even the B squad, the C squad.
It might even be
Kate Otten and who else?
Like, you could be seeing Baker like kind of running out of gas because this is a momentum hit. And on top of that, it kind of takes your breath out like, fuck, I got to keep going without my star players. And if we're going to win, I have to be clutch. I have to win these games because don't get it twisted. All the wins that Tampa has, I think they're 5-2 now. 5-2, right? Yeah. Those 5 wins, those
still a
were
top
Baker.
team in the league.
Yeah, but those were Baker. Those 5 wins were Baker. They weren't anyone else. Baker made those happen. So now he loses Mike Evans and he's sitting there. He's got to think to himself like, fuck, I have to keep doing this all by myself. Like, how much longer can he keep doing this? And it's going to be hard.
He can't do it by himself. It's football, man. Like, it never gets done by yourself in football. Unless you're Michael Vick.
Yeah.
But because he's a guy who can literally just like take control of the game by himself. And that only lasts for so many years.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield's not that kind of guy. He's a guy that, brings his team up and finds guys and creates relationships with, guys like Ibuka, a rookie, where they have this amazing chemistry. But now it's like there's literally no one there that he's made this like amazing chemistry with. The Lions are nobody to, shake a stick at either. Like they're legit. They're one of the top teams in the NFC. Bucks are a top team in the NFC. The Bucks having all those injuries, it's not that surprising that Detroit comes out with that win and that Baker can't overcome that.
I will tell you because of this, probably didn't think I was going to say this. This is breaking news. I am going to be placing the Buccaneers on the trouble watch, and the meaning being this loss is kind of a warning sign all the injuries going on, because your depth matters, your adjustment matters, and if Baker's going to keep carrying you, the rest of the roster has to be holding up, and they're not. So this could this could be the shift. Either Baker gets it back together, or you see him climb the mountain like he's been doing, or this is where everything drops off and the team realizes they can't continue to do it with what they have. And
I see what you're saying. Yeah, this could be where the season turns.
And losing Mike Evans again, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, losing Mike Evans again. Chris Godwin's still not back to who he's supposed to be. Yeah. Ibuka's still out. Yeah, they could be. They could be on trouble watch, man.
And I'm telling you,
but you're placing them on there. They're on the 8-town rundown trouble watch.
They are there. And this does not take Baker off of the MVP watch, but this makes his margin for error razor fucking thin. Razor thin.
Sure. Well, I would argue that with saying against who? Like, who's his runner-up? Who's the one that's coming up that's going to take his spot? I don't think it's Josh Allen. I don't think it's Patrick Mahomes.
I was going to say it could be Patrick Mahomes because Patrick is catching fire right now.
They are. Oh yeah. The Chiefs are they're catching fire and they're gonna continue to be dangerous.
But see,
they might lose a couple more that are stupid, but when the bright lights hit and it's time to really fucking play, I wouldn't count out the Chiefs. I think I've seen enough of them from this season to say we should all still be a little scared of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Absolutely. And to the point you made last week, does the MVP have to be a fucking quarterback? Mm-hmm. And I looked at the stats. I shared them with you. A running back has not won MVP since 2012, being Adrian Peterson. But
the 2,000-yard rushing season.
I'll tell you, we got excited. We wanted to put Bijan in the conversation, but I'm kind of thinking a really deserving running back would be Jonathan Taylor, because that motherfucker is going off in Indianapolis.
He definitely is. He definitely is.
So that's the thing. It makes the MVP candidates kind of weird. It's like,
this whole season's a little weird. Yeah, everything's fucking wide open, man. I'm telling you.
Obviously, you got Baker in the conversation, but is Baker only in it because he's been clutch and he's been making these highlight reel plays? Because what about Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones is being impressive. And then what about the running backs? Yeah. What about Jonathan Taylor? What about Bijan Robinson? This could be a year where we don't see a quarterback be the MVP because of how impressive the running game has been this year across the board, especially for key players like those two guys,
Yeah, I would love if it wasn't a quarterback. I kind of get tired of sometimes the MVP looks like it's headed towards the jersey sales. Who's the good looking quarterback guy that's crushing it this year, where it's like you have so many athletes in the league that are, putting it all out there and threatening, all-time records and stuff. I would be a little more excited if it didn't go to QB this year.
Okay.
Even if it's not for,
you don't like Baker Mayfield.
It's not that. No, it's not that. I mean, look, I make fun of him. I say he's a dork, but I've said multiple times on here, when the Falcons had a chance to sign him, that if we had signed him, I'd be wearing a Baker jersey right now. He doesn't play for my team. I call him a dork. I still think he's a dork. I think he's a great football player, and I think he's really come into his own the past 3 years since he got with a great organization around him. It's not all Baker. We're seeing that. All these injuries. It's like, okay, where's Baker? Yeah. Well, last night, Monday night, it was all Baker, and we got 9 points out of him.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. So it does really does, how the turntables,
How the turntables.
But speaking of MVPs too, you got somebody who we haven't seen ever since they got hurt, Lamar Jackson. There's still no word on when he's going to be back. I heard that we might get word Wednesday on when he's going to return, but with a hamstring, especially with how much he runs and moves and acts like Lamar Jackson out there, you really got to nurse that recovery.
Yeah.
And I guess with it being a longer season, you do have more leeway of more recovery time. So it always begs the question too, when Lamar comes back, is he going to be MVP threat? I don't know, because when he was here, when he was healthy, he wasn't an MVP threat yet. It does take a while to hit your stride. It does take a minute to get your legs under you and get the season going. But I feel like if you're going to have a strike of brilliance for a season long award, we would have seen it before he got hurt. And I don't think we necessarily were.
If they're going to be on trouble watch until, week 11, week 12, and they're not back in the race by then I would say that Lamar Jackson, there's no way in hell that he's going to be the MVP, because part of the
Yeah.
MVP goes with, you have to be like on a contending team. Even
Yeah,
if
you have
it
to be on a
means like
winning
you get
team.
knocked out. Yeah. Even if you get knocked out in the first, second round of the playoffs, you can still win MVP based on your stats.
Yeah.
But, if he comes back and plays 7 games that are great and they don't make the playoffs, I don't see him being
Wouldn't
in the
that be some
conversation.
wacky shit if somebody won the MVP and their team didn't even make it to the first round of the playoffs?
I wonder if it's happened before. I
It probably
doubt it.
has.
I doubt
can
it.
research
But
that
in
for next week.
today's the way that like it's all like media people and insider football people that vote on these things. So if they're not in the playoffs, they're not even looking at them.
Yeah. So the time has come. We were riding high, beating the Bills the way we did. Everybody thought nothing could stop us. Everybody thought, we're turning our season around. Everybody's going to know who we are. So we fly out to San Francisco, and we fly out to San Francisco to do absolutely jack shit and kind of get embarrassed out there. Let's break this game down together, man. The 49ers beat the Falcons 20-10. Penix, if you were just to look at the numbers, if you looked at it on paper and compare the two sides together, it looked like it had a recipe for a good game, because you had Penix, who went out there and had 21 of 38, which I really don't like that completion number. That's a little bad for me. But then when you see the upside of it, that he did have 241 yards and he had a touchdown and 0 interceptions, you're thinking to yourself, oh, those are pretty good numbers. But then you see the rest of the numbers. You see Bajan had only had 14 carries for only 40 yards. His longest run was only 8 yards. And then you saw him the week before where his longest run was 80 something yards, and he was dominating
81,
the entire game. And then he had 0 rushing touchdowns. You had Algier, who had 4 carries for 16 yards. He only did 4 carries. He only did 4 carries and almost had half the amount of yardage that Bijan Robinson had. So, and the total time of possession, the 49ers had it for 32 minutes. The Falcons had it for 27. So once again, on paper, if you pick and choose little key details, it looked like it could have been a good game, but there was a lot of falling apart at the hands of Atlanta. Their run game was damn near non-existent. And, with Robinson only have 40 yards, the offense kind of becomes too reliant on the pass, which you should when you have people like Pitts. Well, Pitts only had 1 reception for 7 yards. He kind of was just a blocking tight end the entire game. Well, then you have Drake London. What did Drake London have? He had 10 targets, only caught 4 of them, and only had 42 yards and didn't have any touchdowns. So if the run game is being stopped the way it is, and you can't do anything in the passing game, and your defense isn't getting up to snuff, I don't know what to do. But honestly, coming off of the win against Buffalo the way we did, this was a full collapse that should not have happened this way.
Pitts had to have had more yards than that. I feel like there was 2 nice plays from Pitts. I feel like Pitts was a nice mismatch against this injured San Francisco defense, and we weren't really using him. And I think a lot of it has to do with anytime we were passing the ball, we were doing the out routes. We were only going at the sidelines, and it's something that I've seen with Zach Robinson and Michael Penix together, is that they will not throw over the middle. They won't do it. Why?
I don't know.
Why?
Dude.
You're telling the defense, as long as you cover Drake London and Darnell Mooney and or Kadarius Hodge or whoever else is on the outside, then you're good. Or at least you're contesting them. You're testing us. You know, like
I
you're
don't
not
know if
making it
that's a
easy for us.
strategy thing. I don't know if Penix is just scared to put it over the middle.
Feels
I
like
don't
it.
know. Are you scared that the linebacker is going to jump 30 feet in the air and grab your pass? I don't know.
Against Kyle Pitts, who's bigger
Yeah,
than
and
anyone who's covering him almost all of the
who's
time.
the tallest guy on the field? Like,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, he's the tallest guy on the field, and he can jump. Like, you drafted him for a reason, so just fucking use him. And on top of that, I don't understand why Penix is so fucking scared to run. I was listening
He
to the
won't do
radio
it, yeah.
today, and they've said all the way back in Washington, he was a little more mobile there, but still, like, and I get it. Don't get me wrong. I understand why you're scared to run, because as soon as you take off running, the first thing looking you in the face is a 300-pound
Two torn
grown-ass man
ACLs.
who wants to fucking tear your fucking legs off of you. So I get why you would be scared, but also you're in the NFL. You chose to be in the NFL. We pay you to be in the NFL, and we pay you to do things like this. So you need to take command of the game. You need to put some things in your own hand. When nothing's open, don't fucking run. Just fucking run.
Yeah.
Just run.
Yeah.
Get a fucking first
Run for
down.
it.
Because I know you're capable of, because the problem is, the reason I get so mad is because I've seen you do it before. So why aren't you doing it when it matters? When a game that matters, this game matters. This game matters because we're in a pattern here where we're damn near losing every other game. You know, and then you can't explain to me why you're fucking beating Buffalo the way you did, and then coming out here and you won't even fucking run for a first down. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me how Bijan isn't getting more play calls his way. When I personally thought he was the best. I thought you had the coaches saying he's the best running back in the league. He's the best player in the NFL. He's all this other shit. So why not?
And then you have a 4th and 1 in the fourth quarter. You have a 4th and 1 in the fourth quarter. You, as the coach, Raheem Morris, has been saying all season long that Bijan Robinson is the best player in the NFL, and you have him sitting on the sideline.
So prove it.
And you come out and shotgun. You come out and shotgun for a 4th and 1. And Bijan Robinson isn't even on the field. Yeah. And then with that play, which is probably the most crucial play of the game, in my opinion, if they had this, they keep the drive going, they score some points. The game was still like 13-10 at the time. Yeah. Totally winnable game. And we have the ball in the fourth quarter. It's 4th and 1.
We have Bijan Robinson.
And we have Bijan Robinson, and we're in the Niners territory. And this is what you want to do. You want to do a little out route to Drake London, which ends up getting broken up by the defender. It even hits London's stomach, but it was affected by the defender. So I'm not going to blame this on Drake that much. I blame this on the play call, because the guy who defended it even said in his post-game interview, he said, all week we were watching that play, and when I saw them lining up for it, he's like, oh, I can't believe they're doing this in 4th and 1. I'm going to get a pick. He was upset that he didn't get a pick. And if he had gotten a pick, which he almost did, he would have ran all the way to the house. He would have ran 70 yards.
It goes
and the
back
game would have been over right then.
To another thing, it goes back to us, how we've been harping on the Falcons' predictability. If he had gotten that pick, it would have gone back to the point he made. He knew it was coming. He's been watching us. Yep. He's been watching film. He knew what the fuck we were going to do, because
Zach Robinson is out of his bag of tricks. He has no more tricks left out of his bag, and it's week 7. And I've been saying this since fucking week 3. Yeah, maybe we should. You know what we should do? We should do what we did against Buffalo, where we had Felipe Franks come out there, take a direct snap, and sneak it. Yeah. And it worked. Why didn't we try that? Instead of coming out and fucking shotgun without the best player in the NFL, Raheem Morris's words, not even mine, without the best player in the NFL out there in the game. He's on the sideline just watching. You have Algier back there. I'd rather hand it to Algier. Come out in the fucking pistol if you want. Zach Robinson loves the fucking pistol. Come out in the pistol if you want, and hand it tell everyone on the field we're going to hand it to Tyler Algier. We need 3 feet.
Yeah.
Try that.
That's something I don't understand, is you praise this man so much. You call him the best player in the NFL, but you don't trust him on 4th and 1 to get you a first down.
Yep. And then, let me talk about the defense a little bit, because I still think that we are a top defense in the NFL.
Absolutely.
But early on in the game, Divine Diablo goes out. Yeah. So, he goes back to the locker room with he was questionable at first. They do an X-ray, and all of a sudden he's out. Turns out he's going to be out for a while. Like, he's got at least a fractured forearm or something, which is a broken arm. So Raheem Morris said, we hope we get him back this year.
I have seen some
that
fucking
sucks.
badass defensive players just put a cast and a club on and go out there and play with a broken arm,
Sure.
though, and that shit's fucking awesome. But I think Diablo is one of those players he kind of does need to use his hand.
And then when JD Bertrand came in, like, to take over for him, which I like JD, but he's not Divine Diablo. Him and Caden Ellis, Diablo and Caden Ellis, like, are such a badass, like, linebacker duo when they're out there. Like, they're very hard, especially if you want to run up the middle. But I feel like Kyle Shanahan saw that Diablo comes out and he's like, you know what? We normally run outside zone with Christian McCaffrey, which is what the Falcons do too, with Bajan. But you know what? We're just going to run up the middle. We're going up the middle because Diablo's out. I'm going to see if they can stop it. We couldn't.
Yeah.
And he did it the entire game. So the defense did absolutely amazing, unless you want to talk about them stopping number 23, Christian McCaffrey, because it got to a point in this game where it was mind-blowing. It was, dude, I was pulling my fucking hair out because
I think running and catching, he had 200 yards combined.
He had 200 yards and the whole team had like 320.
Yeah.
So I was watching the game with my wife. She doesn't really watch football. She went with me to the Buffalo Bills game last week, and so she's actually at home Sunday night. She works Sundays. She normally doesn't get to see the Falcons. So we're playing Sunday night. She gets to watch the game. She's a little high up on them. She's starting to believe a little bit because she saw what we did on Monday night. And it got to a point where I kept telling her, I was like, I promise you, every single fucking play, they're going to hand it to 23. And then, they go back and play action. And she's like, 23 didn't get it. And I'm like, play's not over. Oh, it goes to 23. And we can't stop him. Like, even when we do get him, like first contact, he's carrying us for another like 4, 5, 6, 7 yards, and he's getting first downs almost every time. It was
not
so
just that.
infuriating.
Then you got his offensive line pushing him into a touchdown. Like.
You mean pulling him into a touchdown?
Pulling him into a touchdown, yeah.
Which, if that was called a penalty, which we can argue about if it was a penalty or not, if it was called a penalty, they would have been back at the 12-yard line after the 2-minute warning, which would have given our defense to push them to a field goal, would have made the game 16-10. We would have had, let's say, a minute and 20 on the clock with 2 timeouts, and we would have been able to at least drive and have a chance to win the game.
Yeah.
It's not what happened.
Well, to your point, I listened to it on the radio today. I didn't do any research myself, but what they were saying was the line and other teammates can pull and can, kind of steer the running back in a certain direction as long as they don't physically pick him up and carry him. Like, as long as his feet don't leave the ground, what they did is completely legal. It doesn't make it any less bullshit. It's still fucked up, and I still don't know if that's the exact rule. I'd love to
rewatch that play to see if his feet left the ground. Like,
but that's what they were saying. As long as they don't pick him up and carry him,
they get pulled by like 3 guys, dude, and your feet never leave the ground.
Yeah,
come on. Do you believe that?
But let's also talk too. What's going on with Ray McCloud? Apparently,
McCloud released
due to personal reasons, and
we released him today. Yeah. It was an excused absence, okay. But he's released now.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks. And the Falcons don't really have. I mean, it was kind of a weakness going into the season, especially with the Darnell Mooney injury going into training camp. It was like, okay. So it's Drake London and Ray, and dude, we barely saw Ray this year, and now he's not even on the team.
Yeah,
Darnell
Mooney
comes back.
Is when Ike got fired, apparently him and Ike were really close, and that caused some turmoil inside there, and he didn't want to. Yeah, and he didn't want to be there anymore. So
I heard that too. I also heard that wasn't true, but knowing what we know now. Maybe it was because we don't know anything else.
It would make sense.
He's
that's
gone.
The only thing I've heard. It's the only thing I've heard, and he's gone. So it would make perfect sense if that's true.
No, I'm with you on that. But what do we do? We gonna trade for DeAndre Hopkins or something? We got to do something. I'm serious. If you get someone like that to come in and be your number 2 behind Drake London, now all of a sudden we've got threats, and then you have Mooney as well, who's still, getting back on his feet. He came back, got injured, came back again. He had a couple deep catches. I want to say he was like our leading receiver in this game.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, but I think he is. There's one thing that happened when we really needed to save time at the end of the game. Michael Penix throws an absolute dart to him. It's a deep pass. He's going around 2 defenders, and it's like, Darnell, the sideline's right there, and he doesn't go for it. And then I think this is right before the half, actually. He falls like in the field. Clock keeps going. We start the next play. Michael Penix throws the ball to nobody. You know, he's trying to escape pressure, which he was awful under pressure in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And when the ball hits the ground, 10 seconds left. Oh, never left the tackle box, and there was nobody over there. That ends the half. Had we kicked that, we would have been 3 points behind, and that would have been a whole different game. The whole second half would be different. Be like, guys, we're still in this, but it just felt like a slog.
Yeah,
the whole game on offense.
What I'm saying, man, is this game has to be a reality check because personally, I think the Falcons have the talent and they've shown flashes, but like this matchup is just exposed when things go off plan, when they can't do Zach Robinson's little trick plays and the same play calling that he does over and over and over again.
Yeah.
When that doesn't work, we don't have any backup plans. So we kind of need players to take it into their own hands. We need better play calling. We need to get Bijan more involved than we did because personally, I see Bijan on the trajectory to be the best running back the Falcons has had. You know, in my lifetime, he's kind of already up there. Personally, a lot of people will argue this with me, but I think the best running back we've had is Devontae Freeman. And I say that because of my age. Like, I know somebody will throw out like a late 70s or early 80s player that I've never fucking heard of. I'm 35. I was born in 90.
Names.
You know,
I'm
Turner. Not. Okay. Because that's what I was going to say. I'm not going to know these guys. I was born in 90. The era I grew up in, to me, the best running backs we've ever had, Jamal Anderson, Warwick Dunn, Michael Turner, Devontae Freeman, and Bijan Robinson. And right now, Bijan Robinson.
I'd agree with that. That.
And right now, Bijan is on the proper trajectory to be the best running back we've had. I think right now the best running back we've had is Devontae Freeman, but I do see him doing better than him if he keeps going like this. But in order for him to do that, he's got to play. He's got to play every set of downs. He's got to play at least 2 to 3 of them. He's got to.
What about Todd Gurley? He's not on that list?
Not for what he did in Atlanta.
That's for the real Falcons fans. You guys
not
remember
for
that
what
bullshit?
He did in Atlanta. And the thing is, like, I think Todd Gurley is a hell of a talent. He was incredible at UGA. He was incredible for the Rams.
Had a great career, yeah.
But we got him when he had
NFL
banged up
career,
knees. Though. And if you're a running back and you have banged up knees, you're not going to have that. I do think it's cool how they gave him the come home, saga. How he did play for the Falcons. What happened with
during our
Todd
soft
Gurley,
rebuild that turned into a fucking 8-year drought.
What happened with Todd Gurley was cool, but it wasn't beneficial. You know what I'm saying?
No, not to us or him. I mean, it's probably beneficial to his pocket, which is good for him.
That's about it.
I'm sure him and his family are enjoying their nice country club.
Now, had we have gotten
college and all that, that's great.
Had we have gotten rookie Todd Gurley, completely different conversation. Different conversation.
If we get the Rams Todd Gurley, yes, yeah,
absolutely. But I've said this to you several times. We've had highlight players too late. Even in our first episode, you can say this about the Falcons over and over. Like, we had Eric Dickerson, who is one of the greatest of all time, who is probably a top 5, top 10 running back of all time, played for the Falcons, and nobody remembers that happening because of the era of Eric Dickerson that we got,
Right. My example is always Steven Jackson. I was like, I wanted
perfect
him,
example.
when he was playing with the Rams, I wanted him so bad. I was like, man, if we had a fucking beast like that, like he was so big, he could run so hard. Like if we had that with Matt Ryan and Roddy White at the time, and then when we got him, which was like the Matt Ryan, Julio Jones era, it was just, he was cooked.
Yeah, it was too late.
Yep.
Yep.
I was so hype on it, but
even guys like Calais Campbell got him too late.
Yeah. Even though Calais had a good season, and let's talk about a guy that's a little bit older that we have right now, Leonard Floyd. Man, like he's actually
Leonard
killing
Floyd's
it.
On fire, dude.
He's doing great.
But let's also talk about a guy that we got who didn't do shit, and that was Justin Simmons.
Justin Simmons didn't do anything. He got that one pick on Patrick Mahomes, and he still has more picks on Patrick Mahomes than anybody else in NFL history. And he got one with us. The one time that we played him, and we lost the game.
But that's all he did.
On some
That's all he
bullshit.
did for us, you know?
Yep.
So it goes on and on. The
One more
guy
thing I want to say. One more thing I want to say about this game that I can think of right now. I'm sure more shit will come up if we have more time. Falcons don't have a kicker that they can trust.
Oh no! See, we're back on that. When
we have
We're
to go
back on
for it on 4th and 1 in the first half, or let's say like 4th and 1, 4th and 3, and we have to go for it on like the 45 or let's say the 35, because we can't trust our kicker to kick a 45 to 50-yard field goal. We're not in a good spot in the NFL because there's so many other teams in the league that have a guy who can kick a 55-yarder, and even if he's not 100% on those, they at least trust him to do it. We are clearly not in that position anymore.
Yeah, I know. You know,
it sucks.
And we're back to that conversation. You know,
well, we had all offseason to figure that out. They have to figure it out this offseason. Yeah. Go out and find your fucking kicker.
We had the entire offseason because it's not like Koo didn't give us clues that he wasn't the same. It's not like
the worst kicker in the league last year.
Yeah, we knew we were going to have to replace him, but we didn't. You know? So it's on us. And now on top of that, to make matters worse, Penix is hurt. He's got a bone bruise, and it's undisclosed how long he's going to be out. He's day to day. So we might have to play Cousins coming up, which honestly, right now, I don't think that's the worst thing that could happen to us. I think it might be nice because when you think about it, like, people are giving Penix a hard time. What a lot of people have to remember is that this may technically be his second season in the NFL. The dude is still a rookie. This was still only the 9th professional game he's ever played. He's still got a lot to fucking learn. And it still could be beneficial for him to sit down for a game or two and watch Cousins, even though, you know, Cousins did collapse last season. But at the same time, there's still a lot you could learn from it. And I bet you right now, Cousins is fucking itching to get on the football field. I bet you he would come out there and have a good fucking game against Miami if they had to play him.
And look, if you were going to have Cousins and you were going to have him come out, do it against Miami. Do it against a team that just is completely fucking lost.
Yeah.
Cousins clearly knows how to run this offense. I think his collapse happened last year when he had that shoulder injury that he lied about when he got hit during the Saints game, which was his last win as a Falcon. But you know, that was a week or two after his 300 or his like 339-yard game or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Or no, 539-yard game. 500. So I don't know. Like, he's been sitting down. He hadn't had any like play time. I would assume he's very healthy now. We kind of rushed him in.
He's already got a relationship with the players.
He knows the players. He knows the playbook. He knows how to work Zach Robinson's bullshit-ass offense.
He also knows the playbook before every single play was shotgun formation. You know, he also knows how to make other things happen. Or pistol, I mean. He also knows how to make everything fucking happen, you know, and not have to line up the same fucking way for every goddamn play.
Right. Yeah, and honestly, man, like, why the fuck won't Zach Robinson line up under center? You're 4th and 1.
I don't know.
You have Bijan Robinson. You have Tyler Algier. Why are you not lining up under center? Why are we always 4 feet back from the offensive line? Why does the ball have to start there? This is basic football shit.
You remember back in the good old days where we could be in a situation like that and snap the ball to Mohamed Sanu and he would throw a touchdown pass out of nowhere?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Those days were great.
The wild bean.
I miss Mohamed Sanu. Yeah.
I do too.
That's
but he just retired.
He retired this year.
Congrats to him, man. Congrats to him. Great career.
You know, one of those guys. Okay, so back to what I was saying earlier. He's one of the guys we didn't get too late. And historically, one of the greatest players we ever had that we luckily did not get too late was Tony Gonzalez. But they're a very short list of elite opposed that we didn't get too late opposed to Jesse Bates, as opposed to the long list of players we got too late in their career.
Right.
You know?
I agree with that.
So, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see what these guys are going to do in Miami. Hopefully just give Bijan the fucking ball. And in all honesty, I'll tell you this. If there's even a glimpse of Michael still being hurt when it's getting close to game time, just scratch him. Let it be a fucking healthy scratch. Just put Kirk Cousins out there. There's no reason to bang up Penix even more and just let the fucking morale drop any lower than it possibly has. You know, hopefully they can just come together, have a good meeting, you know, figure this out. I I think I'm on your side though. I think after this season, dude, Raheem and Zach gotta go, dude. There, I fucking said it, dude. I'm kind of done with
How
both of
long?
them.
How long are you gonna let this shit happen? We talked about Mike McDaniel like being like a good coach, but maybe not a good head
But
coach.
our coach is doing the same fucking thing.
I feel the same way about Raheem Morris, and I know that we have a better record, but Raheem Morris is just. I don't see it. You come out and you have one of the biggest plays in the game, 3rd and 13. We're on defense. Raheem's supposed to be a defensive coach. We have 10 men on the field. 3rd and 13. 10 men on the field. They snap the ball. And once again, Christian McCaffrey gets a first down. You had 10 men on the field. And that same drive, you get a penalty for 12 men on the field. I can't blame the players all the time. I can't do it. I understand if you get out there and one guy realizes like, oh shit, I'm not supposed to be out here. But Raheem Morris, you just let this happen with 10 men, and you're not counting men every time they get out there. You dumb fuck.
Part of your job, buddy. Part of your job.
I'm out on Raheem Morris. I've been out on Raheem Morris. I was out on Raheem Morris like last season.
And
his first season
man,
with us.
Like even if they turn this around, even if they make a playoff run, even if they get to the second round of the playoffs, I'm still done with Raheem because I'm tired of getting this false joy. I'm tired of getting excited.
I don't want us to lose so that he can get fired, but I do want him to get fired.
I want them to move on from him,
I do too.
And like completely separated from the organization. Like I don't want you to find another job with the Falcons. I want you gone.
Let's keep Jeff Ulbrich and everybody else can fucking go. I'll keep Jeff Ulbrich and TJ Yates out of the whole coaching staff. Everybody else can fuck off. I don't care. I'm already saying that. We're 3-3.
Yeah, same here, man. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't care. Dude, we could be I'll tell you this, dude. We could be 6-0 right now, and I still wouldn't want Raheem Morris.
I think so too. The game management, the player management, the play calling, the coaching hires, outside of Jeff Ulbrich, I don't see it, man. I just don't fucking see it.
Yeah. So all right, we're gonna
Let's
wrap things
on
up.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap things up. Hopefully the Falcons get their head out of their ass. I don't know. We're done. We're gonna save it all for next week.
This team just can't be trusted. We could come back and be excited again, and then we could get let down again. Like this team can't be trusted. But again, the NFL's wide the fuck open right now. Who knows?
And see, that's the problem too. It's like, okay, let's say we do beat Miami because we should, and let's say we do. Do I even get excited there because you beat a fucking, low-ranking team like them and you did what you should have did in San Francisco? Or do I wait until we get a couple wins under our belt to get excited? And then once I get excited, is it all going to be taken away from me? This team and this head coaching staff is so fucking inconsistent that all it does is give me anxiety attacks. It doesn't make me look forward to Sundays anymore. It's
I gotta shout out another Atlanta sports podcast, the Water Boys. They call the Falcons the blood pressure birds. And every time this shit happens, I think blood pressure birds. So shout out them.
Shout out Water Boys.
It's fucking perfect.
But we'll see you guys next Wednesday or next Thursday. Next Thursday we'll be going over the game. It's going to be Minnesota and the Chargers, which the Chargers are actually kind of looking good. Minnesota's kind of looking good. Minnesota's 3-3. Chargers are 4-3. Keenan Allen the other night was looking fucking stellar. He still got it, man. I've been saying it all week. He had 119 yards and a touchdown. So I know he's only on a 1-year contract, and it might be just because he knows how to play with Herbert so well that he's looking this good. But you might want to think on re-signing him and at least keeping him as your third option wide receiver because he's on fire right now. But that's going to be the game. And
who are you taking that game?
Oh, dude, I'm going to say it, and it's not going to turn out so that this can possibly turn into our buddy Tyler's favor. I'm going to go for the Chargers because every Thursday night prediction I've had, I've been wrong. So possibly if I go for the Chargers, the Vikings will win. So go Chargers, dude.
I'm going to say I don't believe in the Chargers, and I think the Vikings can put together another one.
Oh, fuck. All right.
Let's see what happens.
All right. Well, let's see. All right. So, You guys can find us on YouTube at A-Town Rundown. You can find us on Instagram at A-Town Rundown. On Spotify, you can find us under the This, That, and the Other page. Our podcast comes out there on Spotify and all other podcast platforms. You can listen to Jeremy's band, Sunmancer. He's the guitar god in that band. And other than that, we'll let you guys go. Y'all be safe, have fun, and hopefully we can say rise up next week.
We're going to say right now, rise up, baby. Thanks for watching.